Ruben Amorim speaks out about Rasmus Hojlund and makes his feelings on his form clear. Amorim speaks about what he believes the problems are. Now, we know there's been a lot of reports saying United will prioritise a striker signing. Ruben Amorim has demanded a striker signing. But how does Ruben Amorim feel about Rasmus Hojlund? Could he be sold, or could Manchester United be saying, you know what, we still believe in Hojlund, but we need an experienced striker to come in. He's not ready to lead the line. It looks like it's the second. Amron speaks on sort of what United need. We've got updates on the injury latest in terms of Luke Shaw, Mason Mount. I'll tell you everything you need to know on the injury latest. There's obviously Mason Mount transfer news, although Romano says as of now, nothing going on with Mason Mount to Inter, despite reports yesterday. And then we've got news on sort of United starting 11, who's fit, who's not fit, who could be in the squad for the game versus Ipswich, and I will give you my predicted and preferred starting 11 for that game. So hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup, where we're going to round up all the news and information in 10 minutes. I might be back with a live show this afternoon. If not, of course, we've got Manchester United Ipswich tonight. I'll be back for a match reaction on that game, and you know what? We win that game, I'm confident we're staying up. We are staying. I'm joking. So Ruben Amorim was asked about Rasmus Hojlund. I think it's clear we as a team aren't helping Rasmus. We don't create a lot of chances. We have a lack of threat, and you can feel it in the games. Sometimes we're in the final third, but you don't feel it like we're a very dangerous team. So I have this feeling we are not helping the strikers. I think Rasmus has a lot of potential. If we improve the way we play, we have more opportunity to score. We have to look at Rasmus as a player. He has the pace, he has the technique, he scored some goals that are really hard to score, and sometimes he doesn't choose the better run. Sometimes he's anxious to touch the ball, and sometimes he moves away from goal. We address that in training, but sometimes it's a confidence of the player. And I think Ruben Amorim is absolutely spot on with everything he says in regards to sort of Rasmus Hojlund and how he's performing, because when you actually look at Rasmus Hojlund as a profile and what Amorim wants in a striker, Rasmus Hojlund, when we saw it more last season, this season, but he has that pace, he has that power. When chances have been created for him, he can finish, and when he's running down the channels, he's particularly dangerous. We saw it in the Champions League last season how dangerous he is. But as Amorim said, his touch isn't great. He's giving the ball away. Sometimes he's making the wrong run. Sometimes he's making the wrong movement. He's also got things he needs to improve on. And we're not creating any service for him. We're not helping him. And when he's not got any confidence because he's not scoring goals, that's a big part. And I think Ruben Amorim's given a very fair assessment of Hojlund. He's a 21-year-old in an unsustainable United side that shouldn't be leading the line, that's getting no service, a lot of stick on line, and is got no confidence. Now, the way I see it is Rasmus Hojlund is not ready to lead the line. He's not ready to be the starting striker for Manchester United, but I still believe he can be a good striker, and I wouldn't sell him in the summer myself. I'd potentially loan him or keep him as backup. He cannot be the man to lead the line. We know that. He got 16 goals in his first season. He showed some good glimpses in his first season of what he can do, and if you play to his strengths and you play him and you let him run onto the ball and run at players in front, there is potentially a very good player there. The problem with Rasmus Hojlund is you need to see progress. His first season, he showed signs. His second season, he's not been good. He's been arguably our worst performer this season, and it's not necessarily all Hojlund's fault. He doesn't get service, but when he gets the ball, his touch is off, his pass is off, his run is off, he's wrestling. And Ruben Amorim saying, look, Hojlund could do this, and this is what I want in the striker long term. And we know what Hojlund did in his first season. He showed glimpses, and you know when you create Hojlund chances, there's a player there. And one thing we know of Hojlund is confidence. He didn't score until like December in his first season, then he scored in 7 games in a row. Confidence, creating chances could make a massive difference to Hojlund. So I don't want to write off a striker at 21, because you look at players like Aubameyang, you look at players like Lewandowski, you look at a lot, Gyökeres, you look at an Isak even at age 21, and they weren't the ready-made article. We've got to remember that. And when we sort the team out, we create more chances. And if you could learn from an experienced striker, it's different. He was the third choice striker at Atalanta. We were stupid enough to pay 72 million on him. But I think this is Amorim basically saying on Hojlund, you know, he can't do this, and this. I need a striker that can do this, and this. I need a proven striker. But he probably sees the good of Hojlund that he wants to unlock if he can get Hojlund back in form. Because Hojlund's been bad, but he's been out of form. We saw elements of him being good last season. So for me, Hojlund probably needs a loan, or we bring an experienced striker and he learns of them. But I still believe in Hojlund, but he's not shown any progress, and that disappoints me. But has anyone in the squad shown progress other than Ahmad? Ruben Amorim was asked how Manchester United fans can be confident of positive change after 10 years of poor recruitment. He said, I think we need to show. It's easy for me to be here and say, all the pretty stuff. We have to improve the recruitment. It's crucial. We need to improve the team. We need to perform better and be in Europe and not out of position now. And Ruben Amorim again is saying we need to improve recruitment. Recruitment is key. The most important thing that happens this summer is recruitment. We need another wing back, like another Dorgu that can play right wing back or a left wing back and put Dorgu right wing back. We need a Leacher replacement in terms of someone like Schlotterbeck that can defend the wide channels. We need a midfielder that is very able to cover ground, can stay fit. We need an Alexis McAllister type midfielder, but someone that's good on the ball and progressing the ball. At Gravenberg and Alexis McAllister and Nico Gonzalez, who are all at rivals. So do we look at a Stiller? Do we look at an Adam Wharton? We need a midfielder of that profile. We need a left hand. Mateus Cunha is perfect for the spot. And we need an experienced goal-scoring striker, because if you just bring in a striker, we're not creating service. That striker can do more than Rasmus Hojlund in his hold-up play and his movement, but he's not going to score 20 goals until we sort out the team. So I think recruitment is so important this summer. Also, just players staying fit, because Mason Mount and Luke Shaw get in our starting 11 right now if they're fit, because Leach is out, so Luke Shaw's first choice left centre-back. And Mason Mount walks into that left 10 role when fit, because he actually suits the role, which is even more annoying that they're injured. Not that I was expecting them to stay fit, but it is even more annoying. They've got to go in the summer because they can't stay fit. Luke Shaw hasn't started a game in over a year. Mason Mount started about 5 Premier League games to Manchester United in 2 years. It's ridiculous. I think it's 7 actually started. I can't remember. I have to check that stat. Luke Shaw's in rehab, no return date for him yet. Mason Mount is closer than Luke Shaw, but no return date. They were meant to be back end of February, early March. It's looking like they're going to be back in March, probably after the international break. I'm fed up of it. They've got to go in the summer. They've got to go in the summer. Leach is out. This is perfect time for Luke Shaw. They've got to go. I tweeted this earlier. Lenny Yoro looked better at left centre-back than De Ligt and Mazraoui did, in my opinion. So Lenny Yoro, I want to see him at left centre-back. Amorim said on any injury turns to Ipswich, none of course. But of course, we want to have more players and have important players return to the team. Maino is expected back in a few weeks, in sort of 4 to 5 weeks. Ahmad maybe May. Leach is obviously not going to be back until December-ish, you see, which is a very, very nasty injury. Could be later. Now, talking to Mason Mount, because he's got to go. Sorry, I can't do with these injuries. You've got to go. I believe you're a good player, but you've got to go. Inter are not interested in Mason Mount, contrary to the rumours. There is nothing with any team. Manchester United are waiting for him to return to the field, and a point will be made this summer. I think Man United are thinking if Mason Mount can return and play the last 8 games of the season and look really good in the last 8 games of the season, maybe we're in a better position to sell him in the summer. I think surely that as much as he fits Amorim's system, I think they'll look to cash in on him. I think Mason Mount will be a Man United player this time next year, because I don't think anyone's going to spend any money on him because he can't stay fit for more than 2 games in a row, and he does suit Amorim's system. The problem is he's on massive wages, and considering, Ineos are trying to push out the highest earners, maybe they will look to push out Mason Mount like they're doing with Anthony, Rashford, etc. But let's talk about the starting 11 versus Ipswich in my predictions. So Kone's back with the under-21s. He played in that game, which suggests maybe Collier's return. So Kone had been in the squad the last 2 games. We know that obviously other players were in the squad, but when we had Agati and Yoro return, those players were out. I think now that Kone is no longer on the squad, that says to me that maybe Collier's a return. I know Ruben Amorim said there's no returns. Maybe Collier's available, or maybe someone else is going to be called up. But Morehouse and Kone did feature yesterday. So Kone won't be there. Obi Martin is expected to be in the squad. Obviously, he's coming off the bench and getting minutes. I don't know if he'll start. I think there's a potential. But I think if he'd have scored in his cameo off the bench versus Everton, he starts. But I thought his cameo, he made a few nice touches. One is Jules hold up the ball well, but I still think Hojlund will start a striker, or Xerxes starts a striker. No Leacher, Ahmad, Shaw, Mount, or Maino, which is a bit of a blow. Something tells me Garnacho is going to start. He seems to start every other game the team, and the team that finished versus Everton did well. And he was in that team. He was a big part of it. So let me get into my predicted lineup for Manchester United versus Everton here, because I do think Garnacho will start. Something tells me it's going to be similar to the team that ended the game. Now, I think Casemiro will be back on the bench, but you don't know. He's played in the last 2 games. I think because we're either going to have Garnacho, Bruno, Hojlund, or Xerxes front 3, or we're going to have Casemiro in the pivot and Bruno playing higher. But I think Bruno did better in the pivot last game, just because he got more of the ball. I do think Hojlund will play, and I do think Bruno will play. And I liked Bruno on that left-hand side, because I thought him and Dorgu made some really good runs and patterns, I'm going to be honest. I'm thinking it's going to be Bruno Agate. I mean, surely Dorgu plays, because he was the best player last game, arguably with Bruno. And I'm assuming Delo keeps his spot at right wing back, even though he hasn't been great because, well, yeah. I want to see De Ligt central centre back. I think Maguire should hold the bench because he had a stinker last game. He was at fault for both goals. Euro looks most comfortable at left centre back. Mazraoui can go right centre back because that worked well versus Ipswich last time. But that is probably the starting 11 I think we might see. I think we might see that. Or we might see Mazraoui probably rested. So I actually think we'll see De Ligt here, sorry. Mazraoui will be rested because I think he was a little bit of a concern. I think this is what we'll see. This is my starting prediction for Manchester United versus Everton. I think that's what we'll see. If Mazraoui is available, I'd rather see him than Maguire. Potentially Bruno plays higher up. And you put Casemiro in there where Bruno is, or Eriksen comes in potentially, but I think that's the starting 11 we'll see. I think Chido will come to the bench and get half an hour if I was to make a prediction. I don't know if any other of the kids will be on the bench because a lot of them are on the 21s. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.